Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1991's Toy Soldiers. Well, before we get started, if you want to follow me and Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idol. Let's get into the cast and crew. Toy Soldiers, because it's a long list.
Yeah, it is.
So, this film stars Sean Astin as Billy Tepper, Wil Wheaton as Joey Trotta.
You know, I think you should all be nicer to Wil Wheaton.
Keith Coogan as Snuffy Bradberry. Andrew Divoff as Luis Cali. George Perez as Ricardo Montoya. T.E. Russell as Hank Giles. And Lou Gossett Jr. as Dean Parker. And there's some other good actors that pop up randomly throughout this movie.
Yeah, there are some fantastic guest appearances.
Yes, absolutely. So this movie, and I don't know the last time you saw this, but it's been a long time for me. And I think I told you this on the phone, but I loved this movie when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the love has not faded over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I still love this movie.
My love for this movie has actually grown.
There are a couple of like little cheesy, like, don't do that. But for the most part, 99% of this movie, I love throughout.
I was mad about 40 minutes in that I was not able to write this myself, because this seemed like something that I would fucking write.
Yeah, it does track for you. So
I love this movie. I love it so much more now that I know what like stories are, and plots and things like that.
Yeah,
fucking fantastic.
So this movie opens in Colombia. A terrorist, Luis Cali, takes over the Palace of Justice in Colombia and demands the release of his father, Enrique Cali.
Yes.
He's told that his father has been extradited to the United States, and Cali and his crew of goons head for the U.S. in a helicopter, and they throw the judge off the helicopter. Like this, it starts off, it's action-packed. Like,
yeah, well, we're also forgetting the fact that he says, hey man, where's my father? And the guy's like, the judge says, he's been extradited. He's basically gone. He's in the United States. He's like, no, he's not. And they kick a lady off the fucking roof.
Well, my first reaction outside of like, ooh, it's already tense to begin with. Like, I'm digging this because I don't remember this beginning at all. I just remember them at the school. But I'm like, oh, he doesn't understand how life and laws work. Like,
well, yeah, that was my point. Was like he
was like, what's extradition?
He's do some background, because they even show up to the school late. Yeah. This is a track record for this kid, and this is why your dad really doesn't like you. Like, it's like you're like, like you're bad at your job. You're bad at being a drug cartel guy.
Yeah.
Because you're late to the extradition part. You're late to the fucking school. What the fuck can you do right? Show up 15 minutes early to the job interview, you fucking moron.
That's it.
And if you're on time, you're late.
And what's with the random white dude? What's with Chad heading up his crew? What's that all about?
I appreciated Chad because he was from Total Recall.
Well, yes.
He was one of the other goons from Total Recall. That's all I know him from. So I was just like, hey, Total Recall bad guy.
Congratulations. Why is he like heading up Cali's fucking hit squad from Colombia?
I don't fucking know. Everybody needs a white friend. That's all I'm saying.
They found him where all the Nazis went in South America after the war.
Yes. And if any cartel bosses are looking for a white friend, I strongly suggest Armando. He's really good at being your friend.
We cut to the Regis School. It's a prep school for boys who I guess just randomly get kicked out of other prep schools. This is like the prep school for bad boys.
Yes.
And it shows Billy and his friend Joey after soccer practice. And we know it's soccer practice because Joey still has his goalie gloves on. They just wanted to let you know he's the goalie.
He's the goalie. Because that comes up. Never again.
Exactly. And he never takes them off through this scene and the next.
Yeah, right? It'd been great if he's been like, oh, we're going to need somebody to catch the bomb when I throw it out the window. And he's like, I got my goalie gloves.
They have the team fuck with the security guard, this poor bastard. And as they spray paint the sign and change it from the Regis School to Rejects. This is like, I guess, to show that we like playing pranks and getting in trouble because we're as bad as you can get for being in a prep school and being rich.
We're rich kid bad.
Yeah. Yes. Later on, they like murder interns, but right now they're spray painting rejects on stuff.
I was gonna say that comes later when they're playing lacrosse for Duke.
Hey-o!
If you're gonna graffiti, just do art.
Yeah, I'd rather you just like drew a bunch of dicks.
You can spell. Congratulations. I'm with you. Like, I was at a urinal the other day and I saw such a well-drawn dick. It looked like one of the dicks from Superbad. I was just like, that's fucking impressive.
That's art, is what that is.
Right?
So Dean Parker and two federal marshals show up. They meet with their friend Donahue to let him know about the situation with Cali because his father is the judge who's going to preside over the Enrique Cali case. Yes. So his entire family must be protected, so they shuffle him off away from the school.
Can we just take a brief moment and give a massive round of applause to this movie? It is the first movie we have reviewed where the cops are ahead of the bad guys.
Yes.
They're not fucking idiots.
We're golf clapping here.
Way to go, guys. Way to go.
So Billy and his friends break into the kitchen one night. They use this secret entrance into like this basement storage area to drink vodka from mouthwash bottles. And Billy then makes a phone call to a sex line because those used to be a thing. And
hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. I cannot stress this enough. Any kind of sexual activity with the boys, unless you're experimenting with each other, which is fine. But if you're just calling a sex line because you're going to circle jerk, find something else to do. That kid can make a fucking radio, which, by the way, why wasn't Sean Astin on Crimson Tide? They would have been out of that situation in about 5 seconds.
Dude, that movie would have been 20 minutes long.
For real. But that's beside the point. Don't do jerk-off stuff with your friends around.
I mean, you can if you want. We're not going to kink shame here. If you want to do that, do your thing.
But this is clearly a group of pubescent boys
who by the way, they all have boners in this scene.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're all just getting chubbed up, and like one guy's like, "Oh, like tell her this." Take them off, nail it. This is just not the right room for this group of boys to be in. They can find something else to do with their time and alcohol.
And you got the one dude, when you got the friend, Fluffy or Snuffy or whatever the hell his name is, and he's like, oh yeah, tell her to take off her panties. Just hang up the phone. Stop the phone call.
Your bro got a boner and had an asthma attack.
Dean Parker sees the light on his phone because, you know, he's up late. He's working because he's the dean. And he picks up the receiver. He hears the whole sex conversation. And he finds Billy and the boys in the basement and sends them to bed and then forces Billy to break the Radio Shack phone and collect all of the vodka mouthwash bottles from everybody he sold it to.
And you know, before Lou went down there and made them hang up that phone call, he rubbed one out real quick. That chick was putting in work, and the way Lewis, when he heard that, and he was just like, oh, shit. Like, she knew what she was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So he was just like, I got to go to work real quick, and then I'll handle these boys. And that's why also he was so epically cool with Sean Astin.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just like, break your shit, collect your stuff. Nobody's going to be in trouble. I ain't kicking you out. Get the fuck.
Dude.
Are you kidding me? I just rubbed one out because you're a fucking genius.
You're right. It's fact.
Billy also here gets put on pots and pans in the kitchen. So that's like his punishment after this whole thing. So during lunch the next day, Luis Cali and his goons get to the school. They kill the security guard, a faculty member. They take over the school. And they rig explosives all over the school with one detonator that's attached to Cali's wrist. You know, the garage door opener. What the fuck is it with these movies that we've reviewed where there's, like, the garage opener was the most versatile tool you could use if you were doing, like, criminal things.
Yep.
I never understood that, but it's like he had the giant fucking...
Well, it was like every horror movie in the 50s was like, we're all getting attacked by radiation spiders because of nuclear war. Like, you know, they didn't understand garage door openers by and large back then.
It was almost like every writer looked at a garage door opener and went, bet you that could fucking start a bomb, rig some explosives to it.
Fucking A right. Look, it even has a glow light on it. You shitting me? Let's not forget, though, by the way, the 6,488 orange wires hanging out of the fucking what looked like one of those old dictation things like doctors used to use. Like, it had a reel-to-reel on it. This was the chintziest fucking detonator system I've ever seen in my life.
You got wires going all across this school. You can't cut. Like, they come up with this, like, super duper hard, we could get killed kind of plan to save everybody. I'm like, bro, you're on Possum Pants. Just take a knife from the kitchen and cut the goddamn wires. I'm pretty sure if these were cut anywhere, it's fine.
You're right again.
This is where we also find out that Cali's just inept at being a son and being a bad guy, because not only did he get thwarted in Colombia and they extradited his father, he now gets thwarted here by, you know, these dungaree wearing FBI agents and federal marshals because he gets there too late and doesn't catch the Donahue kid there. So they're like, well, this whole movie is Cali and Chad and their guys like, oh no, what do? We need a new plan. And now the plan is, well, I guess there's all these like rich white kids. Let's just use them as our leverage to try to get my dad out of prison, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, like this is basically our exact same strategy for the Iraq War. It's like, let's go get them! Well, that didn't fucking work out. What do we do now? Let's try this. I don't know. Let's fucking try this one.
I don't know. Anybody ideas?
Anyone?
Nobody?
Anyone? I got like 6,487 fucking wires over here. Do these do anything? Nothing?
Dean Parker, during this whole deal, has left the school to go talk to the local sheriff about where Billy got the booze from, and they get notified that someone shot up the school, so they head over to find the security guard shot and dead. And after the sheriff decides not to listen to a thing that Dean Parker says about, you know, calling the FBI and whatnot, the sheriff decides to drive up to the school announcing that I don't have any weapons and I just want to talk. And he gets his car blown to bits because he's a fucking idiot. And that's why you're a local cop.
Hi, law enforcement officers, specifically in the county or township areas. You know what's cooler than being an alpha male today? Waking up again and being an alpha male again tomorrow.
There you go.
That's really cool. Let's try and do that instead of just being the fucking, I'm gonna handle this situation because I fucking negotiate with fucking drug cartel people all the time. I can barely figure out who spray painted rejects on my car. Yet I'm ready for this next level, boss. Watch me work. Get the fuck out of here.
We then get the FBI and the Army. They get involved. We get the Cadbury egg guy as the FBI agent in charge. We get R. Lee Ermey as the Army commander. And Cali lets some faculty and staff go. He leaves 92 people in the dining room where everyone is counted. They have bells and whistles and shit to when they get counted, whatnot. Because, you know, when you do take over a school as a terrorist, you got to let them outside to play and to still enjoy their classes with the headmaster, who also from Trading Places, the butler. So you have to have the kids enjoy themselves while you're trying, because you want to be the nice terrorist. You don't want to be like this mean, you got to stay in this one room.
Well, Michelle's Play 60 campaign was very effective. And it touched a lot of people's hearts. This was another sign. This guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Like,
yep.
This is permanent lockdown. We'll bring you food every couple days.
Yeah, and he's got the kids running around the entire school bringing his guys food, and he's just allowing any chance to like fuck up his whole plan at every waking moment.
You were right.
Billy and his friends see all of this and this dude's like fucked up plan, and they're like, dude, we can make a plan of our own and we can get ourselves out of this because this guy's an idiot. So they start making plans for how to deal with this whole situation. But first, Snuffy decides to make a mafia joke, which pisses Joey off for obvious reasons because, you know, his dad's the head of the New Jersey Mafia.
But wait a second. We're friends.
So I got a thing for you guys. Here's a don't do that. Hi, people and friends and whatever. This whole I can call you a wop if I want to because we're friends reasoning.
I'm your friend. I can call you a fucking wop if I want to.
You and I talk about this all the time. You can tell when somebody's making a joke. It's about context. It's about how it comes out. It's, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to a joke and how to tell it and ways to tell it that it's not going to be like rooted from like this hateful place. That shit, that Snuffy or Fluffy or whatever the fuck his name is, that shit came from like a hateful place. Don't do that. And also, I gotta tack this on. When you're around others and you decide to do racisms and things, wear shorts and not tighty whities, you fucking asshole. There's
amount of kids fighting in their underwear in this movie is insane.
It's nuts.
Like, is this Caligula or toy soldiers?
So they start to collect as much information as they can about the terrorists so they can pass it on to the Army and FBI.
And when we say do recon before you leap into shit,
yes,
motherfucker, this is how you do recon.
They do recon like a motherfucker here.
Hell yes. Just watching how they do this, put them on my team any day of the week. We're going to win the big game, coach. We got it.
Yes. They're like, oh, you can draw things and people? Like, yeah, I'm like a accomplished artist. Well, there you go, Picasso. Paint these motherfuckers and the guns and all that shit. Yep. We then get the scene with the parents meeting with Dean Parker and the FBI.
Yes. This is when the movie starts to pick the fuck up.
This scene is, first of all, this scene is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, of course.
You get, all the parents are pissed off. You got the one lady that's like,
my family isn't rich. We don't have influence at the White House. Why should our kids suffer alongside the rich kids?
Fuck the rich kids. Let my kid go. What's going on here? You got the other guy that's like, just drop a bomb on the whole fucking place. Fuck those guys.
Why don't you just send your troops in there and shoot the sons of bitches?
It doesn't matter what the situation is. There is always the guy that's going to stand up and go, fucking shoot him. And then sitting in the back is cool-ass Jerry Orbach just sipping his fucking coffee. And when you see that, if you're not hip to, like, movies and plot, this is when, like, it's very obvious you should know who his character is. Yes. They set it up back there. When we talk on this show about there not being fat, this is what we mean.
Yeah.
because just this really weird kind of back and forth that the kids are having, and you think, it's a tense situation. They let shit get out of control, but they're friends. The scene shows that they're friends through thick and thin and racisms and everything. And really, it's not. It's setting up Jerry Orbach's introduction here.
Yes. So we see him, and he decides that, hey, fuck all these guys. Nobody puts Joey in the corner. So he's going to get something in the works to get Joey out of school because he did business with Cali's dad back in the day, and it's a thing, and hey.
And I love that. He's just like, get my kid the fuck out of there.
He was like, fuck these white people. I need my kid the fuck out of there.
Now we're white people. Every fucking show you're complaining that you're not a white person. Now we're fucking white people.
Only when it benefits me.
Hell yes.
Meanwhile, the boys get all the information, sketches, etc. of everything. They get that all together, and the next day they decide to execute the plan to get Billy through the basement, like classroom area, and out the window and through the woods. And they distract the goons with a remote control, like homemade airplane type thing.
Yes.
As Billy is able to get through the woods to the storm drain, and he's intercepted by the army soldiers. And this scene made me laugh because, like, this is how you know they're kids. Because he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? We're going to get this to me. I'm going to put it in my back. You distract him with the thing, and I run across. I'm going to get there. I'm going to go, here you go. Peace out, fellas. And I'm out. Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. Because they take him here, and they're like, yeah, dude, you're not fucking going anywhere. We can't let you go back. They take him to the dean so he could talk to him, but he steals one of like the Humvees. He drives away. They chase him through the woods. He gets back to the storm drain, and they bring up the helicopters and shit, distract the goons so he can get back to school. So Billy gets back just in time. As they're going through, they're counting all the people. They're one person short. So they line up the 5 people to execute, and he comes running in, and he's all wet because he fell in the storm drain. He's got the towel around him. And he says that he was in the shower. He didn't hear the bell. And Cali takes him up to the office, beats the fuck out of him, roughs him up a little bit.
Yeah, and I got to drop this real quick. Hi, would-be murderers. Uncle Corey here. If you're going to kill somebody, don't make them face a wall. Look them in the fucking eye like a fucking grown-ass man. You're about to do some grown-ass man shit. Be a fucking man and look them in the eye when you kill them.
Yeah.
Just turn around and face the wall. Fuck you. What are you going to do? Kill me? Fuck you. Look me dead in my fucking eye.
Exactly.
Turn around for shit.
And they're kids. Like, dude, just...
Well, yeah, one of the kids they pull is like fucking 9 years old, for God's sakes.
I thought it was like a high school. I'm like, this motherfucker's in 6th grade.
Right?
Dean Parker, the Army, and the FBI discuss Billy's plan. So Billy comes up with the plan for the Army and the FBI to disable the explosives and get all the kids to safety in the little secret basement in the kitchen.
Yes.
So Joey is then brought to the office, to the headmaster's office, and he's told by Cali that they're letting him go. And he tells Cali to go fuck himself.
Which was awesome.
Which... it is a really good scene because he's like, hey, we respect your dad. And he's like, fuck you, fuck him, fuck your mother.
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, not for nothing, you Italians need to choose when to let that temper go.
We choose violence every time.
Yeah, you do.
And Joey...
Wil Wheaton is done with it.
You know, I think you should all be nicer to Wil Wheaton.
Joey chooses violence here. And I'll tell you this is the most mafia kid response that you're ever going to get in this situation. So he tells him to go fuck off. He gets taken out. He attacks the guard, gets his hand on a gun, and then tries to use it, attempts to use it. It was like your first time playing Call of Duty, and you just hold down to the trigger, and he just goes, ah! He just leans back.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like your first time shooting an automatic weapon, and you just go, ah!
That's how you can tell he does not like his dad and the whole mafia thing, because that bitch has never shot an automatic weapon in his life.
But can I tell you, this is what I wish would have happened from here on out. Like everything else stays exactly the same. But when Louis Gossett comes to pick up the body and he actually confirms that it's Joey, I would have kind of liked for him to just start laughing. And I know it wasn't in his character. But I would have liked for him just to chuckle a little bit. Just be like, Jesus Christ. Like, do you know what you've done? And then the terrorist is like, no, you have to explain this was an accident. And be like, dude, accident or not, they're gonna hunt. Like everything can stay the same. But just that little bit of like, dude, whether you win or lose here, you're dead.
You're dead either way, whether you get your dad out or not.
Yeah, like it's over.
Yeah, that would have been a great scene.
That was
if they did that.
There are two things in this movie that I would have changed, and that is one of them.
We then cut to Cali's father, who's about to be released from prison, when there's a riot, and Enrique is magically killed in prison.
I like when Orbach does, when he finds out that Joey was killed, and he kind of gives that last monologue he has.
How does a kid have an accident that gets him shot with a machine gun?
It's time they found out there's no such thing as an accident.
I was like, yeah, boy.
Dude,
I fucking loved it. I ate that shit up.
I didn't realize, like, all I knew back in the day when I saw this is that I like movies, and they're fun. And now doing this and seeing who the actors are that play these roles.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw him in this role, I was like, the fucking Dirty Dancing? Come on. As a mafia don? But in the two main scenes that he has, he crushes it both times. They then cut the power to the campus. So they hope that Cali won't find out about his father because of electricity.
Like the worst lie ever. Oh, yeah, we've been experiencing, like the whole area has been experiencing some problems.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you'll have an hour. Dude, quit being so fucking lean. How do you know the raid isn't getting ready to fucking start? Like, are you Bin Laden, stupid?
Yeah.
How do you know this isn't coming right now? The power just got cut.
Normally, we're dealing with, like, the inept cops. Like, we don't know what's going on. Woo, woo, woo. Like, it's all that. This dude is the idiot. Like, the actual, like, the military, the FBI, like, they're doing all the right things here. And the bad guy, who's, you know, supposed to be outsmarting everybody, he's the idiot in this whole situation. And it's hilarious.
Hans Gruber would slap the shit out of this guy.
Hans Gruber would have killed him in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
You're right. It's fact.
The plan here starts to be executed. The plan is to defuse the bomb, and everything's underway. Billy and Yogurt come up with this plan to disable the detonator in the headmaster's office. So Billy goes through the restroom vents in the ceiling with Yogurt. Once in there, Yogurt helps him take the chip out of the remote receiver and switch it with the airplane that they confiscated earlier. On the way back to the bathroom, Billy and Yogurt have some issues when one of Cali's team members has to take a piss, and they come in and he fights with them. They wrestle the gun away because broke AC Slater comes in and he does his thing. And then we get to my favorite scene. Possum Pants. And you have Cali's guy, like Billy goes into the kitchen, and one of the henchmen follows him into the kitchen to see if he's actually supposed to be there. And literally, when the guy walks through the swinging doors of the kitchen, he says, "Are you supposed to be here?" Like, he sounds like he's from Brooklyn.
Are you supposed to be here?
It cuts to, it's Billy, and he says, "Oh, no, I'm on pots and pans duties. They gave you shitty jobs." And he's like, "Oh, Possum Pants. Hey, some Possum Pants."
Possum Pants? What's Possum Pants?
I have to wash this shit after every meal.
Possum Pants?
Yeah, pots and pans.
I loved that scene back in the day. I don't know why it made me laugh, but Possum Pants always made me laugh. And when I saw it this time around, I noticed that the guy didn't have an accent when he first walked in, which when I saw that, I fucking lost it.
Right. Just some Italian dude from Brooklyn.
Again, we are a versatile people. So during this whole time, the army's moving in. They're coming in with choppers. The students take over the last dude in the cafeteria. Billy gets everyone into the basement hideout, but he's still upstairs, and he gets caught by Cali.
And can I tell you, dude, when the army's coming in here, and like the music, I don't know what this was about, like 80s, 90s movies, but like every time like the military would come in, like this real like excited John Philip Sousa-esque marching band would start playing. I caught myself kind of doing like play-by-play because it seemed like a parade. Like, now the helicopters have flown overhead. The ropes have fallen. The ropes have fallen now. The men are coming down the ropes. The men are coming down the ropes. Oh my God, that Marine just jumped on his tummy so hard. My God, he's taking aim at the terrorists. They've killed him. They've killed the terrorist. It's like, get the fuck out. What is the music?
It almost reminds me of like the old A-Team music.
Exactly.
Like, it was kind of that. It's in that same vein.
It's so just, it's not necessary, and I'm
like,
glad we've gotten out of that.
You know, the guys in the editing room are like, dude, get a load of this shit. Boop. Huh? People are gonna get fucking psyched in the theaters.
Yeah, they are. Like, where you got motherfuckers standing up and saluting and shit.
Cali then here tries to use the detonator. Yogurt's airplane starts flying around once he hits the button. You know, he has Billy hostage. Dean Parker arrives just in time, and Cali gets shot in the head here.
Yeah, and this was a PSA I neglected to give everyone, just because I think we kind of skimmed over it. But Louis Gossett Jr. shows up here at one point when the SEALs are getting ready to go in and the military goes in, and they're trying to figure out the map. And he goes, it'd just be easier if I show you. And the guy's like, no, bro, we got it. Hi, literally everyone in the world. If Louis Gossett Jr. shows up and decides he should go with you on your operation and lead it, fucking bring him. I don't care if it's to order lunch, rescue kids from a prep school, fucking whatever the situation is.
Whether he's wearing khakis and boat shoes or not.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If Louis Gossett Jr. shows up to your fucking house and is like, hey, you know the way to work? It'd be easier if I took you. You're like, dude, I got it. No, you don't. You let that man fucking take you to work. He knows a better way.
And listen, let me tell you this. Because it's 3 Navy SEALs. And they're like, yeah, we got it. And they go through the thing. There's nobody else around. There's no other military presence. No. The FBI's not there. These 3 guys go, and Louis Gossett Jr. literally gives them a 3 Mississippi count like he's 6 years old and he's playing football in the park. He's like, fuck this shit. And he just immediately takes off.
And then proceeds to do the worst fall through a window I've ever seen in my life. Like, listen, he looked like the drunk guy at the party that was like leaning on the window, like trying to twerk. Like, oh, look at my sexy ass, I'm twerking, and then just fell through the shit.
Listen, Louis Gossett Jr. will save the day, but he's going to look like shit falling through that window. That's it.
You know how cool Louis Gossett Jr. really is? He gets shot in the heart, and they only have to bandage his shoulder. It was amazing.
But, yeah, so Louis Gossett Jr. gets shot here. Cali gets shot in the head.
Which is a dope scene. That motherfucker looked like he got racked in the head.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And then afterward, Dean Parker tells Billy that he's still on Possum Pants and he's still on punishment, and they laugh. And the movie ends as all the students are released from the basement. The boys can't find Billy. Billy comes jogging out at that nice little like medium jog pace. Yep. They all celebrate. And literally, it kind of goes back to the music too. The guy that was doing the editing and that was editing all the music in, he was like, yeah, this is going to fucking get people's blood pumping. The last shot here, the director was like, guys, they can't find him. And then he comes slow jogging out through the cops and through the FBI and shit. And he's like, hey, everybody in the theater, that's a standing ovation. People will, because back in the early 90s, late 80s, like people actually clapped at theaters and shit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That happened. It was a thing. Everybody stands and claps at the end of this. And that's that's the money shot at the very end.
And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts in the director's original cut, Sean Astin was doing that slow run in tidy whities. And then the test audiences were like, I think it'd be better if he was just clothed. Like, can we just make him fully clothed and then try?
Can we get him like a cutoff shirt? Like that might work. Right. Can we just do the cutoff versus the tidy whities?
Maybe you'll get a side boob if the right angle hits.
But dude, all in all, I know we spoiled it at the beginning, but I still really love this movie, man. It's
fantastic.
It's an enjoyable watch.
I think it's a fantastic movie. I think you could remake this movie today very easily. And, like cell phones, signal jammers, done. Yeah. Like cell phones aren't the big complication that people make them out to be. Like, trying to sculpt some of these movies into today's world. Absolutely. They're really not. And this movie could be done really fucking well. I'm quite sure, what's his face? Finn Wolfhard would be starring in it because he's in fucking everything.
Absolutely.
But no, this movie could be done, again, really well. And I'd love to see it. Yeah, this movie's just fucking fantastic. I love it.
It really is.
Right up there with me for Red Dawn. You hit the nail on the head this morning before I had watched it. You had said that the plot was more believable than Red Dawn, but Red Dawn's a better movie.
Yes.
To that, I totally agree. And the only reason I think that, in all honesty, is because Red Dawn has a far better cast.
Yes. Yeah, top to bottom.
Top to bottom, you can't argue with.
Red Dawn
absolutely.
Cast.
Those are all like 95% legends.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That cast is better, but again, it's like a 1A, 1B type of situation. And I didn't think, like, Red Dawn, when we reviewed that, I was like, dude, this is Red fucking Dawn.
Right.
When Toy Soldiers came up, I was like, yeah, Toy Soldiers. But it was almost ironic cheering. Like, I was just like, I was a little sarcastic because I didn't think it was going to hold up. And it really, really did. And that surprised me.
Yeah, no, man. This movie was fantastic.
Yeah, but that's all I got. If you don't have anything, what movies do we have coming up?
We got Remember Me, Secret of My Success, Beautiful Girls, and Training Day.
And just an FYI to everybody, the reason some movies get shuffled around are people are going to PayPal and paying us money to bump their movies up. So if you want to do that, go to the description below of this review. The link is right there for PayPal. Throw us a couple of bucks and we will move your movie up the line. That's how it works here. So that's all you got. That's all I got. For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1991's Toy Soldiers.